Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today I'm sharing with you a 5x7 mixed media canvas, and I'm doing it in an abstract style using some gel prints as collage. These gel prints were made, I think, on the 7th, so it was a couple weeks ago, and they're using heavy body acrylic paint in fluorescent colors or gouache paint in fluorescent colors, plus black and white, some stencils, stuff like that. I started my little canvas design by making abstract marks using some India ink, and I gave that a good heat dry because I wanted it to not smear as I was collaging. If you leave it even a little bit wet, it might smear some. It is permanent once it's dry, but it's not dry the minute you put it on there. And I used a Pentel pocket brush, which is one of my very favorite tools for mixed media, to do those marks. And it just really random, crazy, curvy, loopy lines all over the canvas to give myself a start. I think that okay, so let me say, just in case you guys don't know, we have a theme in Art Joy of Sharing over on Facebook. It's an art community. We have a theme every month, and this theme for this month is hashtag AJOS Neon Pop. Yes, you may use the word pop in conjunction with neon. That's the only time. I really hate that word. If you guys have been following me, I think that word gets really overused. But anyway, neon. So I've got these fluorescent colors, neon colors on some gel prints. I also used some markers on some of those gel prints. This piece was done with the fluorescent markers on the gel plate, let them dry, pick them up with a coat of white or black paint. So that's some mark making as you're making a monoprint, which is kind of fun. But I will put the products that I used in the description box below the video so that if you need to find any of these fluorescent colors in these products, you'll be able to find them. The ones that I picked, the products that I picked, I was going for opacity. And the markers, which are made by Marabou, are really good for opacity. And also the heavy body acrylic paints were good. The gouache isn't as opaque. And all the other paints that I tried out of my stash, not opaque enough. I think that black is definitely the contrast that you should use with neon. And maybe that's because I'm a child of the 80s. And I remember that whole neon clothing trend and, the graphic patterns on your shoes with black and white. So that type of stuff really appeals to me. So I really want to use black with it. But if you put some of those less opaque paints over black, then they just turn dull. The black shows through and they turn dull. So that's the reason I was looking for more opaque colors in these neon products. And definitely they are not all the same. So I'm just continuing to tear and glue my papers. One way to make sure that you get a good bright paper over some of this pattern and black is, of course, to use a piece of collage fodder to, make your own papers that are nice and bright with the neon colors, and then that way you don't have to worry about painting over a dark background, I guess what I'm saying. So I also thought that I would use a little bit of, I really enjoy type and letters and numbers and stuff like that. And I had purchased this tissue paper. I often will make my own mark making tissue paper with, black ink on white tissue and make my own marks. But you can purchase something like this. This is a Tim Holtz product. It's just tissue paper with printed words and numbers and stuff on it. And I think that really adds some interest to what I'm doing. And because it's on tissue paper, it's transparent, so I can put it over the colors and it doesn't wreck the colors. So my next layer of this mixed media canvas is to put on some actual paint. So I got out the acrylic gouache set. This is the fluorescent set. It's got orange, pink, red, purple, green, and yellow fluorescent gouache paint. And I put some of that onto my palette, and I'm just integrating the collage into the pattern. So I'm using the paint in that way. I'm also filling in the background in areas where I didn't put any paper, but I am definitely going over the edges of some of the paper and kind of blending the design together to make more sense. Because my original start to the design was using a marker and just never lifting it and just drawing curly, loopy things. And of course now some of that collage has broken up those lines. So I need to just make sure that the shapes are integrated with each other, even if they're just weird, odd, random shapes. So doing that with some paint, I got out some of the blue and green because there is this one piece of paper on the left that is a combination of the fluorescent blue and the fluorescent green paint. And actually that one paint, the blue, is from the Heavy Body, Liquitex Heavy Body set, because there's not a blue in this gouache set. So I did have to just get a drop of that, but no big deal. I've also got out my Marabou 4 colors of paint markers. Here I am just using up that excess paint. I don't want to waste it, so I'm just painting it around the edge of a piece, and I'll be able to use that for collage later. That's one of those gel printed pieces. So then I do have some white acrylic paint, and I'm using that also for like kind of some mark making and filling in and highlights around, just, to leave some white, which I didn't. I've got to put it back in because I didn't leave any white space. So trying to make sure that even though this is abstract, it still makes sense, that the lines are connected, the shapes are connected. Now here's that's my favorite, the fluorescent pink. I wasn't necessarily a girly girl. I wasn't all about the pink, but I sure like that dramatic fluorescent pink. And I know I'm not the only mixed media artist who uses fluorescent pink in their work sometimes, because it's just so bright and so intense and in your face. It really adds a highlight and it brings your eye to the space that you put it, no matter where it is. So then I gave this another dry. I got out some black and some white Posca pens. These are acrylic paint pens in a pen form. It makes it easy to use. Starting out with this fat black one. Something that I find interesting if you are going to use lines, is to vary the line width or the line weight. And so I have 2 different sizes of markers that make it easier to do that. Like I could use the small marker and, double line it and pull it together and color it in to make a fatter line. But if I already have a fat marker, why would I need a thin marker, right? So I'm starting with the fat marker in the black and connecting everything back together, circling things, mark making, dots, that type of stuff. And then I just come in with a thinner one and see how that is dramatic just by making fat lines and thin lines. That's something that's interesting in design. So, and repeating lines, going around and around. Something that I enjoy is mark making. It really makes something very uniquely you, because it won't look like anybody else's. Somebody else does the same thing, even if they try to do it exactly the same, it's not going to come out the same because all of our marks are different. So then I'm also using the markers to bring in some highlight of that crazy highlighter yellow and the orange and the pink and the green. You just can't miss that, right? If you're going to do neon, you got to have those colors. So I'm using those markers as well. Those are acrylic ink in a marker format. And then I will finish it off with the 2 sizes of white. Actually, I'm not sure if I used the small white pen. I might have just used the big one. So this is a lot of fun. This is really intuitive, and just, there isn't a right and wrong on this one. It's just fun to do. So I recommend it. I think you guys should pull out any crazy bright color fluorescent product that you have. Might be paint, might be ink, might be pens, might be embossing powder, paper, whatever you have, and give this a try for our theme this month, hashtag AGOS Neon Pop. And if you did like this video, remember to give me a thumbs up. If you have a question or a comment, please leave it below. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel or join my channel membership for exclusive content that comes out on the 15th of the month. And all those things that you do to interact with me help my channel grow by telling the YouTube algorithm, the wizard of algorithmness, to recommend my channel to other people. So that's it for me for today for this little mixed media canvas abstract. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.